Dear students, today I'm going to discuss with you one meeting, a meeting between the two prominent persons. And that meeting was not in open, it was a secret meeting. In past, in history, we have seen the number of secret meetings which changed the geopolitics and even changed the maps of the world. This is also a very important meeting held recently on 23rd of November 2020. The meeting was between the Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, and the King of Saudi Arabia, Mr. Salman. Now, this meeting took place, and no one officially declared about the meeting. Israeli, some of the sources have revealed it, but the Arabians didn't reveal it. So, what's the importance of this meeting? For that, we have to go slightly in the background. Israel is a country which was born after the Second World War in 1948. In Hebrew language, it means a holy place, a sacred place. It was carved out from the Palestine's area according to the Balfour Declaration. Now, the Arabians were not willing to give any land to the Jews. But the Western countries, headed by USA and England, UK, they divided it into Israel and Palestine. But immediately there was a war between the Arabians and the Jews. Saudi Arabia was one of the leading partner of that alliance. In 1967, once again, the war took place, which is called as the 7 Days War, in which the major countries of Arabia, headed by Egypt, Saudi Arabia, they fought against Israel, and Israel defeated them. Rather, Israel captured the areas of Egypt, that is Gaza Strip, then West Bank of the river Jordan, from the Jordan, and Golan Heights from Syria. In 1973, there's a place very close to Tel Aviv, the capital of Israel, where there's a headquarters of Mossad, the intelligence agency of Israel. And in the headquarters of Israel, that Mossad, one meeting took place on 25th September 1973. The meeting was between King Hussein of Jordan and Golda Meir, the then Prime Minister of Israel. King Hussein warned Israel that Syria and Egypt secretly are going to attack Israel. Golda Meir didn't took it seriously because they said, we have defeated these countries many times. How they can attack us? So they were underestimating these two countries. So they were assuming that they cannot attack. They are not in a position to attack Israel. But on 6th October 1973, when Israel was celebrating its festival, that is Yom Kippur, this is Israel's one of very important festival in which the Jewish people ask for the forgiveness from their gods of their sins. According to Jewish calendar, it is the most sacred day. On that day, at 2 p.m., Syria and Egypt attacked from the two sides. And its mastermind was Saudi Arabia. The condition of Israel was miserable because he was suddenly attacked. He was not prepared for the war. But within 24 hours, Israel reverted back. Looking into the strong position of Israel, Saudi Arabia and Iraq also openly came in the war. Even Jordan, who was giving the information to Israel, also sided with Saudi Arabia and its allies. Israel was alone. In this joint operation of 5 countries, Israel was dominating. Then Saudi Arabia came with the new trick and plan. He made crude oil its weapon and asked USA and the Western powers not to help Israel, and asked him to return all the territories which he snatched in 1967 from the Arabian countries. Saudi Arabia even reduces its production by 5%, production of oil by 5% every month. With this decision of Arabian countries, there was scarcity of oil and its prices rose by 3%. Global economy started shrinking, rolling down. Industries got shut down. Stock markets fell down. US and European countries came under pressure. At that time, Saudi king was Faisal. And he came on the television and announced that if entire Arabian population accept the Palestine division and existence of Israel, Saudi will never accept it. And they are deadly against their staunch enemy Israel, the Jews. This was a historical speech by the Saudi king Faisal. And the present Sultan's father was also present over there, who listened to that speech. On 23rd November 2020, Israel news agency Walla acknowledged the meeting between the Sultan of Arabia and Benjamin Netanyahu. On 22nd November, Netanyahu, in his private jet, went to Saudi, where in a town that is Nume, he had a meeting with Muhammad bin Salman, the Sultan of Saudi Arabia, and the Mossad chief, Yosef Cohen, was also present over there. And another very important person was present, that was Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State of US. Saudi Arabia is discarding this meeting. Netanyahu was asked by his Likud party about the meeting, and he refused to comment on it. Israeli Education Minister congratulated the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for this meeting. Even the Defense Minister, Mr. Gant, also acknowledged this, but he was annoyed that he was not asked about the meeting. Wall Street Journal also acknowledged this meeting. Why this meeting held? This is a very important question. Since 2015, Israel and Saudi Arabia are coming closer to each other, slowly and slowly. In 2018, Sultan Mohammed bin Salman said, Jews also had a right to own their land. This clearly indicates the closeness between the two. NBC is a channel in Dubai. It is Middle East Broadcasting Channel, which shows one serial recently in the month of Ramzan. And the name of the serial was Harun, in which lot many Jews characters were there. Even love angle between Jews and Arabians was shown, which in India is called the love jihad. Even the communal harmony was shown between the two communities. This is called the soft diplomacy. This serial might be with the permission of the Saudi government, because the channel NBC is also controlled by the Saudi government. Now, why Sultan is doing so? Only one angle is there, and that is Iran. It is just because of Iran they are doing all this, because Iran is the common enemy of Israel as well as Saudi Arabia. Second is reason for their closeness is the USA, because the present president of USA, Donald Trump, is defeated, and the next president elected, Mr. Joe Biden and Mrs. Kamala Harris, both are against the Saudis. They don't want that Saudi Arabia should dominate. And on the other hand, the new elected president won't give free hand to Netanyahu as President Trump used to give. Perhaps Joe Biden will revive the nuclear deal, that is P5+1, which was signed in 2015 with Iran, which was finished by the President Donald Trump. Both Israel and Saudi Arabia cannot tolerate that Iran should come in the mainstream, because if the nuclear deal come into existence, then certainly it will be the Iran will dominate in the Middle East. That's why Saudi Arabia and Israel are in a mood to coordinate their relations. Already Bahrain and UAE have signed their deals with Israel. Now Saudi Arabia and Israel have to come openly, not secretly, as Israel won't mind in doing so. But Saudi Arabia cannot, because he is very close to Palestinians. Palestinian cause was raised by the Saudis only. And he is a leader of the group which was against the Israel. And they had very good relations with Palestinians. Shortly, their closeness will be open, but what will be its impact? The impact will be Palestinian will be isolated. Palestinian, they formed the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization, on 28th of May 1964, who had its two wings, Hamas and Fatah. For a long time, this PLO was headed by Yasser Arafat, who died in 2004. After that, Mahmoud Abbas of Hamas. Hamas is an extremist group and Fatah is a moderate group. On the other hand, in Palestine, there is a one group, Hezbollah, which means the party of the gods. They are a group of the Shia extremists. They are supported by Iran. Now, Israel, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt, Bahrain, they are on the one side. On the other hand, Iran, Turkey, Pakistan, Malaysia, they are coming on the other hand. So this is how the Muslim world is going to be divided. If in actually it will be divided, certainly there will be a change in the geopolitics. There are many countries who are going to have an alliance with these two groups, because these two groups are very important from the natural resources, from the geography, and from their leadership. Thank you very much.